Hello everyone and welcome back to Destiny. Last night Bungie deployed their This Week in Bungie blog, and we finally got some updates on the upcoming April update. For the update, which will be released on April 12th, there will be a number of new pieces of content, including new PvE challenges, new and updated gear, a new quest featuring the Blighted Chalice Strike, increased max light and rewards, sandbox and crucible updates, and more. Now, as you can imagine, I'm pretty excited for this update, as it will give us a reason to jump back into the world of Destiny and grind out some new rewards. Now, the highlighted items they mentioned are pretty vague, but it looks like Bungie is going to show us a much closer look at what to expect in the update with a number of reveal streams on Twitch. The first of these streams is on Wednesday, March 23rd at 11 a.m., and it looks like we're going to be getting a much closer look at the new activities in the update. Then it looks like the following Wednesday, March 30th, is when we can expect to learn more about what we can earn in those endgame activities in regards to gear and weapons. I personally hope that they talk about some of the Year 1 exotics that have not had a chance to make their way to Year 2 yet. And finally, on the following Wednesday after that, on April 6th, we're going to be getting a preview at some of the sandbox enhancements and crucible updates. Here we can probably talk about some quality of life improvements in the interface and around the world of Destiny, as well as any additions to the Crucible. And of course, let's not forget about weapon balancing. This does fall into the sandbox category, so you can expect to hear more about what they've been doing for weapon rebalancing over the last few months. Either way, I think the thing I'm most excited about for this update is going to be the new PvE activities. And while we don't know much about it, we do have at least one massive clue that was given to us during the update. And that clue is the image that was provided with the weekly update itself, and that's the image I have on screen right now. Now, there's a lot going on in this image, and Bungie has always been very meticulous with the way they share information. So my guess is that at this point, any speculation you make based on this image is probably not going to be too far off from the truth. So let's go ahead and break down this image a little bit. First up, let's talk about the background itself, which looks to be the skybox for the Reef. The Reef was introduced to us just about a year ago in the House of Wolves expansion, and was home to the new endgame activities at the time, the Trials of Osiris and the Prison of Elders. The Prison of Elders was a pretty great concept, but it didn't take off the way Bungie wanted it to, namely because it wasn't as replayable as they had intended. The Prison of Elders was pretty fun for a few weeks, but quickly became a little boring and repetitive. The Prison of Elders, and the Reef social space itself for that matter, have a huge potential to be absolutely awesome, and it would be a shame to see it go to waste. But it looks like Bungie has maybe learned their lesson with the Prison of Elders and have retooled it to be truly replayable. There are two things that would make Prison of Elders more replayable than it was in Year 1. The first thing is going to be the challenges. If they want Prison of Elders to be fun, it has to have a lot more variability. It's not going to be enough for me to simply disarm bombs or shoot mines. I want to see more well thought out mechanics and more interesting boss fights. They were onto something really special with the Court of Oryx, so I hope they move some of those ideas over to the Prison of Elders. The next thing that will make Prison of Elders a lot more replayable is going to be the gear set. The Prison of Elders gear set in Year 1 was one of the most disappointing things about the expansion. But I don't think it was an issue with the gear set as much as it was the Ascension system and the way you got the loot. And that leads me to the second part of the image that makes me think we're getting an updated Prison of Elders, and that is the gear set of all of the Guardians. Don't let the Taken colors fool you, which we will talk about in a moment, but that gear is the exact same gear that you got in the Prison of Elders in Year 1. I wasn't a huge fan of this gear set, especially the Titan helmet, but I don't think that necessarily means that this gear is going to be reused as the new endgame gear. I think it's just proving as a clue for what's in store for us. I personally hope that if it is a new Prison of Elders, that the endgame gear is going to be all new and probably revealed to us during the second Twitch stream on March 30th. The next clue to support the return of the Prison of Elders is probably not as big of a clue, but I'm going to read into it anyways, and that is simply the fact that there's 3 Guardians pictured in the image. The next clue is the thing that leaped out to me immediately as soon as I laid eyes on this image and left my jaw on the floor, and that is what appears to be Taken Guardians. Now there's some pretty wild speculation you can make based on this image, and that is there might be a dark leveling system as opposed to a light leveling system, or even a new weird Taken subclass. But I really don't think that's what's happening here, as those ideas would require pretty extensive development times, and I don't think they have spent too much time on this update. At least not as much as would be required to fully flesh out those ideas. Now, there are a few ideas as to what this might be. The first idea is that it's simply a shader. If it's a shader, it sounds like it might be the first of a line of exotic shaders that completely change your appearance. That is the leading theory, but I actually don't think that's what it is. My theory is that it's somehow connected to the Blighted Coven strike. This shader does kind of remind me of being torn between dimensions in King's Fall, and we know that strikes are starting to get a lot more raid-like mechanics. So whatever Blighted Coven ends up being, I think it will have a lot of new interesting mechanics, including perhaps a buff that gives you this appearance. Now, whether it's in the Blighted Coven strike or the Prison of Elders or both, my theory is that you go into this buff to help you see enemies that you normally wouldn't see in your normal state. As I just mentioned in the King's Fall raid, you can become torn between dimensions, which lets you interact with and see objects you normally wouldn't be able to. But I think that you're going to be able to grab an item called the Blighted Chalice, which will fully put you in the Taken dimension, allowing you to interact and kill certain enemies. But that would mean you would become completely invisible to your teammates, introducing a high-risk, high-reward mechanic to the Prison of Elders. Let me know in the comments below what you think we'll be getting in the update as far as PvE activities. We have 1 week to speculate until the Bungie stream, so we'll know the truth either way soon enough. Drop a like if you can, and subscribe for more Destiny content, and I will see you all next time.